Here we go. Alright, welcome back to One Piece Anime Review, episode 410. We are reviewing episode 1142. If I can get to it, come on, thank you. Okay, it is called Come in World, Vegapunk's Message. And we're also going to be discussing chapter 1159. This episode covers chapter 1108, though it covers pages 3 to 15 because, well, there's kind of a reason why it does that. Well, that is because, well, okay, so the reason why that only covers just page 315 is because the first two pages are a 2-page spread, and then you have the tagline thing for it, and that's it. Also, as of this very episode, there is exactly 17 chapters left to be adapted for this entire story arc. And given what happened in this episode, I could potentially see some expansion stuff here. Like, because there's so much story potential given what was mentioned in this episode. So, by the way, only 3 Straw Hats are seen the entire episode. So, no Zoro, no Jinbei, no Chopper, no Robin, no Usopp. Yeah, these 5 Straw Hats are not here. Yeah, so both girls, they're not here. Here's Usopp, Zoro, Chopper, and Jinbei. They're all not here. We only had 3 Straw Hats the entire episode. Luffy, oh, and Brook's absent too. So you got Luffy, Sanji, and Frankie. In the case of Frankie, well, we start off with him, where he's like flying to get away. Then also with the pacifistas, we start with them, where they're basically still firing upon the Navy ships. They're trying to fire back, and of course they mention, oh yeah, about the giant pirate north part of the island. So the ship's being destroyed, and we see various admirals, including like Admiral. There is Doman, Bluegrass, Urban, Hound, Guillotine. They're all seen witnessing all this. Before we continue with this, there is a brief couple moments here where we have, get this, Caribou, Van Agler, and Cara Devlin have a conversation where Caribou is like, please take me with you. I have information that's vital only I know for the world. So, it's revealed that he knows location of ancient weapons, which he figures this is useful to Blackbeard. It probably is, given the fact he's one of the 4 emperors. I'm sure he basically would love this info. What take it with them? You'll find out and see. It only lasts for a good couple minutes, but it's a great scene. So, and then right after this, then we have where you have them flying, of course, and then where one of the admirals, Tangu, is basically chasing them down. He's chopping trees with his bare hands. Then he turns on the Honky, and then all of a sudden he's crushed by a giant axe by the non-business end of the axe because Dory and Broggy are there. And Frankie has never met these two before. Nope. He knows of these two from Usopp. Because mentioned it was like with giants we live here. Like, yeah, it's of course mentioned like, oh, we have business with the Straw Hats. Like, Luffy's my captain. You have beef with him? No, we don't agree on gratitude. So basically, 2 of the giant pirates are tasked to bring Frankie, Kuma, Atlas, and Juribani, because the admiral was tasked to kill her, to bring the giant ship, which, no problem. So Dory, Broggy, and the rest of the giant pirates, minus the 2 escorting the 4, are on the way to pick up Luffy and Sanji, along with Vegapunk. And it's, oh yeah, a certain scholar. And that certain scholar, of course they mentioned in the episode, is Saul. Yes, who they brought up in this arc is alive and well. Now, the purpose of him revealing he's alive and well is to obviously set up Elbath, which is the current arc in the manga. And that's why basically Dory and Broggy are here, to basically set up that very arc. Yep, And they're not sitting in the rest of the episode. So then we cut to. By the way, they do mention that the rest of the Triads are up in the big cloud thing, like the island. And think, oh, it's a Sky Island. No, it's an island right up there. Like, oh, okay. So that's like Sky Island. Oh my gosh, Sky Island is basically about like the way it's described here in the anime. It's sort of like it's implied it's above the ozone layer. That's where the Sky Island is. Yes, and you only get is by a freaking geyser, and you have to go up there a certain particular way. That's the only way to get up there. And a lot of ships that come down, almost all of them except for one, that being the Going Merry, end up being freaking destroyed when they do this. Actually, there are two. The other one is actually Ryder's ship. Yeah, Ryder's been out there too. Which, that's really cool. I think it was also mentioned that Bellamy, formerly captain of the Bellamy Pirates, even he has been up there too. But it was mentioned his ship was destroyed, and presumably all his crew were dead. And eventually, after this address, Rosalie, he retired to become a dryer. Yeah, so, and then we have a lot of the episode focused on Luffy, Sanji, Katsuru, Vegapunk, and there's big reason for Vegapunk, and Saint Saturn. Where Saint Saturn's not liking the fact that Luffy hit him, so he proceeds to evolve to much more of an evil Spider-Man, to the point where his feet, when it touches like trees and buildings, it becomes poison. And I'm saying this, and I'm surprised Luffy doesn't say this in the episode. He didn't say this in the manga. It's like that poison guy from Impel Down. Now, he did do this when he was in Punk Hazard, when he compared Caesar Clown's poison to the former warden of Impel Down. He compared it to him. But he is much more stronger. And then Sanji tries to get away with Vegapunk, but Katsuru cuts him off and he shoots him one more time. And he's like dying quicker. And Luffy proceeds, and of course Katsuru tries to go after Luffy, goes big, grabs Katsuru, he basically is breaking the man's bones with his giant fist, and he's like squeezing the head of Saint Seiya. You can hear in the anime, if you watch the episode, you can hear bones cracking in the man's head. And this man is 200 years old, and his bones are cracking. I'm like, damn! Do not make Luffy angry, otherwise though he would make you seriously beat the crap out of you. I'm sure Colleen's got a blast with this episode when they finally dub it. Yes. And then Vegapunk apparently dies. And then we see they built this thing where like there's this heart monitor, and then this TV turns on, which of course they would tease as in the opening title sequence by TV turning on and revealing the truth of the world. Ending the episode. Yes, anybody watching this arc can tell this arc is still exciting. It's so good. It's an amazing arc. I can't wait to discuss basically the rest when they come out. Now, those of you probably thinking, like, the Delta Wano has been completed for a while, Nick. Why didn't you come back and finish watching it? I've been busy with other stuff, so I've not had a chance to finish watching it. I probably will go back to it eventually, though I do got like a lot of episodes to go through. How many? About 100? Yes, seriously, about 100 dub episodes. I do not know how long it'll take me, but I might try in the future. That's an 80. Right now, no. Because tomorrow I'm starting off with Adolescent Bookworm. But before this video here, let's talk about New Child Manga. Chapter 1159, The Island of Fate, where we have Okacha Yamato's Golden Harvest, Second Permit, Volume 41, time to munch on apples and return to Flower Capital, where she's here with Uti in page 1. Yes. Which means, and based upon this cover image, I'm guessing that the very next couple chapters might be wrapping up this arc. Oh, okay, so before I talk about the chapter, there's potential here for... Okay, so here's the thing. I would love to see the end, because the manga probably didn't take a chance to do this. I would love to see an episode of the series where you kind of had the giant pirates giving a small tour, well, kind of a tour. They can't exactly go inside the ship because they're they're giants. Unless, of course, they're like that fill-in character who appeared in that one arc that built movie Z, where they kind of give sort of mention like, oh yeah, the ship is bigger, and I'm surprised. I would hope they would ask like, what happened to Going Merry? They do mention the episode. It's like, oh yeah, I knew they had pirates, but I didn't recognize you guys. Are you guys researchers? Like, yeah, because of the fact that Frankie is basically, well, works for Luffy. I'm sure the fact that they're probably given the lowdown exactly like, since they met the giant pirates back in Little Garden, they've added several crew members because at the time when that arc came out, the only part of the crew were Luffy, Sanji, Nami, Zoro, and Usopp. It was a 5-person crew. And that was it. And this arc led into Drum Kingdom, which basically would have got Chopper. And since then, they added Chopper, Robin, Brooke, Frankie, and Jinbei. They've added 5 more people in the crew. Yeah. So basically, we continue the flashback where Shanks apparently has been like, hey, look everywhere, Don Merlin's been killed, was on security last night, been killed. And Shanky's been kidnapped. Shanky, oh yeah, this up with that. What did you say? Rock's basically about this. Of course, everyone's shocked the fact she's been kidnapped. Because apparently she was like, yeah, and I think still Rayleigh basically is wondering what the heck is going on. So the whole thing with God Valley, with you have basically Shanks' father look at his kids. And apparently the way, now here's the thing, if anybody's seen, so Fingerland is the man's name. So the red hair that Shanks has actually was mom, not his father. So the mention about competition of God Bella, yeah, this basically is sort of an expansion upon that's how it was explored in the previous arc of the series. Which, interesting, we're basically bringing up a flashback in this chapter with Kuma and Jenny. So basically this flashback in here is set just before their first chronological appearance in the previous arc of the series, which I think is really cool. Of course, we do see Monkey D. Dragon, the future leader of the Revolutionary Army. He appears in this chapter. Because all the tear gas stuff. And then here's what I mean. There's Kuma. Not Kuma, that's a Ronkoff. And Jenny. And this is set before they met Kuma. Which, really cool on that. And this is basically some game stuff here. And there they go. And here's Kuma. Yep, there's young Kuma. So this is during his flashback, which is really cool. And we see Morgan before he got his current outfit in the past. President of the World Economic, which he still is to this very day. Yep. So Shaky's still alive. Yep. And it's like, oh yeah. And of course, basically getting involved. Oh crap, it's the giant ship. Slow down. Back to the giants. Okay, so the big thing with this chapter is, so Rox is not actually his last name. Expa is his given name. That's definite. See, his full name is Davy D. Expic. You see, Rox is not only the father of Blackbeard, but apparently in this world, he is a descendant of Davy Jones. Which, that's a legend in pirate lore. I'm like, that is interesting, because I heard about, like, people were shocked about this. The fact he's related to the guy who, there's a thing called the Davy Jones Locker. The Davy Jones Locker, from what I've heard about the thing, not just the way he appeared in Pirates of the Caribbean, it's basically an afterlife of pirates, where this is where they go when they die at sea, into Davy Jones' locker. it's kind of like with the Vikings when they die, they go to Valhalla. If pirates die, they go to Davy Jones' locker, which is basically the bottom of the sea. And so basically, him and Harold basically exchange cups there. Mention about God Valley, which of course this leads into their appearance, which leads into what happens during the events of the flashback, Kuma's flashback, and then we see Shanky basically auction. Looks like I think it's Dave the God Valley incident. And of course, everyone wants Shanky, of course, except all she wants is Silver Rayleigh. The man becomes her husband, and who takes really good care of her. Because this woman is 62 currently in the manga, and she looks fantastic at 62. And, fun fact, in the English dub, she is voiced by Elizabeth Maxwell, who I'm going to see in 2 weeks. And then the chapter ends with basically where we see a very child version of Blackbeard, where it says, "Come here, Teach, it's alright." Well, apparently Shanky knows Blackbeard. And it ends what we saw in that flashback for Kuma. Very interesting chapter. Because I love the fact they expand a little bit of lore when it comes to rocks, but the fact that this takes place in the same time period as Kuma's flashback, that I found to be interesting, because this is like it's set, because they had an episode of the current arc of the series of the anime where it's the Egghead arc, which is the flashback memories. Excuse me, and this chapter is set mostly around like the flashback where he arrives at the island itself. This is set just before that, which really cool. And I got handed Oda. This was amazing. My ranking for this chapter is a 10 out of 10 because the manga still proves to be good. And at least we have to wait 2 weeks next chapter. Oh no. It comes out the very next chapter of the series next week. So that is pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. Next to the comment corner, and I'm calling night. Okay, next video. Bye.